Hey guys, we just wrapped up our first Sunday service, first Sunday meeting that we've had in 147 days. It's been 147 days. That's 4 months and 25 days since we've last met together as a church. And because we're now meeting here at Regina Street, our numbers are smaller, which has given us the opportunity to check this out. Very still maintain some of the living room feeling, but it allows us the opportunity, because we have a small group, to discuss and dialogue, and so we had some really lively, fruitful discussion this morning. But I want to say that with the amount of time that we've had as a layoff, and with the current constraints that are in place from public health and for all of our health and well-being, it's not going to be kind of business as usual as a church. We're not going to just go back to what we were doing on Sunday morning, say back in February. And so the question that we're going to be wrestling with and talking about and diving into over the weeks to come is, who is God calling us to be today? Not who is God calling us to be in February or March or 5 years ago or 10 years ago, but who is God calling us to be today? Who is God calling us to be as individual Christians, and who is God calling us to be as a local church? And because we're not able to, and we're not going to go back to the way that things were, it's an opportunity for us. I know that there's some sadness that we can't necessarily have everything or do everything that we were doing before, but there's also opportunity to reflect, opportunity to reassess the methods that we've used, the things that we've done, and then an opportunity to reshape into a better representation of the thing that God is calling us to do today. So I found this quote from Preston Sprinkle, who is a New Testament scholar, and he said, "Christians had their greatest, most pervasive impact on the world in their first 300 years of existence. And they did so without a weekly rhythm of large indoor church services. Their impact came through caring for the poor, humanizing women, and a commitment to non-violence." And we could add a bunch of things to Preston Sprinkle's list, right? Like the church made an impact without a building, without tax-free status, without the internet, without childcare, without perfectly mixed worship music, and so on. And I'd say some of those things can help us, and some of those things I think have been a blessing to us. They don't all need to be rejected. But what I think we can recognize is that a lot of what we've done is not essential. It hasn't been essential. And what we're reflecting on now and reassessing now is, what is essential? What is essential to our character as a community? For me, it's an exciting time, because it's a time of renewal. It's a time of new growth. The verse that came to mind, and we talked through this this morning, is from Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 10. Isaiah chapter 9, the great passage with "For unto us a child is born," and so on. But in Isaiah chapter 9, verse 10, it says, "The bricks have fallen, but we will build with dressed stones. The sycamores have been cut down, but we will put cedars in their place." And so what's going to come out of this, what's going to come out on the other side of this, isn't what has been before. We're not just replacing bricks with bricks, but bricks with dressed stones. That what's going to come out of this will look different, but our hope and our prayer is that what comes out of this will better reflect and radiate the glory of God, be a more accurate representation of the thing that God is calling us to be today. So what else do I want to say? I'll read this to you. The church is an institution. It's a human institution, and that's meant to capture, reflect, radiate something divine. But too often, the human institution becomes the point. And it's not hard to see why. We create traditions, we create systems that often begin with the intention of benefiting and blessing others. And those things work for a while. People like them. But then we have to keep them going. And then we get upset when they changed, or when they're changed, or when they're removed, because what was once received or experienced as a blessing has become an entitlement. So the church becomes just another service provider in the community. And we start to judge the quality of churches, or judge churches by the quality and the efficiency with which they provide their services. So, providing services, not a bad thing. Benefiting and blessing others, not a bad thing. What becomes difficult is when the institution, when keeping all these things running, when keeping this or that going, gets in the way of who God is calling us to be. And when our time, energy, and focus is focused on just like maintaining all the spinning plates, then I think we can miss something of the heart of God. So we're going to continue to talk about this in the weeks to come. The systems are in place now to just register and reserve a place at a service. We didn't need 2 services this week, we just needed 1, so I'll start out with just 1 service for next week, but you can reserve a place for that online. If needed, we'll add a 2nd service, and then we can come ready to talk about what the church is, who God is calling us to be. We can gather together, meet together, and have a great time together. All right, that was our Sunday morning. Bless you guys. Hope you're well. Bye-bye.